Okay, so we're moving on to our final method for factorising, and it is still trinomials. It's just slightly trickier trinomials, you could say, once you know the method, hopefully not, with a number in front of this x squared. So we still have to ask, is there a highest common factor if you're asked to factorise this? There isn't a highest common factor here. It's not a difference of two squares, so it's a trinomial. So if we're asked to factorise this, again, we're going to put those letters above to help us, MEM, just to remind us which ones we're multiplying to and which ones we're adding to. Now it's going to be a slightly different way to use these multiplying numbers now. We're going to look at the two numbers underneath them, the m's. We've got a 2 and we've got a 3. So at the side we're going to multiply towards 2 times 3. So we use the two numbers underneath the m and multiply them together. 2 times 3 is 6. So we're multiplying towards 6. Underneath the a is a -7. The x gets dealt with within the bracket, so we just need to look at the numbers for now. So it's -7. So we're multiplying to 6, we're adding to -7. So let's write down the factors of 6. 1 and 6. So we have to get to a negative number, and we have to, when we add them together, which means they're both have to going to be negative to be able to then multiply to this positive number. So if we do -1 minus 6, then that gets us the answer. -1 minus 6 is -7. -1 times -6 is +6. Okay, so we can go back to the equation. Now this is where it gets a little bit different. The 2x squared is going to stay exactly the same for now. Now this -7x here, we're going to break up into two different terms using these numbers here. And this is where we put the x back in. So -1x we write first. Now we don't need to write that one if it's a -1x, we just need to do -x, it's the same thing. And we use this -6 as well, -6x, and you still have the +3. So all we've really done here is we've broken this -7x in the middle into two different terms. -x, -6x. Now if we were just to look at that, -x minus 6x is -7x. So we haven't changed it in any way, we've just split it up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to split it in half. We're going to look at each half and we're going to take out the highest common factor. So for the first half, 2x squared minus x. Highest common factor there is x. Open the brackets. Inside the bracket, x times 2x would get you back to 2x squared, and x times -1 to get you back to -x. Now if you're not sure about highest common factor, you should go back and look at the highest common factor tutorial to help you there. Then let's look at the second half. Now whichever symbol's here, you're going to write, so you've got a minus. Highest common factor between 6x and 3 is 3, so it's -3, open the brackets. -3 times what would get you 6x? 2x. And -3 times what would get you back to +3 means we're going to have to multiply it by a negative number. -3 times -1 would get you back to +3. Okay, we are almost there. Now we know we've done it right here, or at least we hope we've done it right, if these two brackets are the same. 2x minus 1 and 2x minus 1. What you do know is if you don't have the same brackets here, then you've definitely done it wrong. So you need to have a look back at where it went wrong. Maybe just start again. But if you've got two exactly the same brackets here, it is looking good. All right, so that is your first bracket for the solution. So you can actually write that down. The first bracket is the one that you've matched, 2x minus 1. Now the second bracket for the solution, we get that from the terms that are outside the bracket. So here we've got an x, and there we've got a -3. So that x minus 3 becomes the second bracket. X minus 3. And that's you. So if you were maybe not sure, you're not as confident yet, I would still suggest multiplying out these brackets just to double check that you get back to the original expression. But that is us, so we're going to try another example. So if you can copy down 3x squared minus 37x plus 12. Okay, so is there a highest common factor? We look at these three terms. No, there isn't. It isn't a difference of two squares, but it is a trinomial. There's a number attached to the 3 here, so we're going to use that method that we just used. MAM to help us. So this time you multiply by multiplying these two numbers. 3 times 12. So we're multiplying towards 3 times 12, which is 36. And we are adding, that one still just comes from the number underneath the A, which is negative 37. So we're adding towards negative 37. All right, so let's write down the factors of 36. We know that they're going to both have to be negative because we're multiplying to a positive number, but adding to a negative number. So factors of 36, we have 1 and 36. If we do negative 1 times negative 36, that gets us positive 36. Negative 1, take away 36, minus 37. So actually we've got it in the first one. So we go back to the first expression. And if you look at what we did before, what we do next is we take that minus 7x, we broke it into minus x and minus 6x. So this time, I'm going to take this minus 37x and break it into minus x from this negative 1 and minus 36x. So let's write that out. The 3x squared stays the same. You break that minus 37x into minus x, minus 36x. Don't forget to put your x's back in there. And you still have a plus 12. All right, next step, break it into 2 different halves and take out the highest common factor. Highest common factor for 3x squared minus x, that's just going to be x. So x, open the brackets, 3x minus 1. Because x times 3x is 3x squared, and x times minus 1 is minus x. All right, next bracket. Again, we write this, whatever sign is there, so we've got a minus. We've got a 36x plus 12. So what's the highest common factor there? That is going to be 12. So we've got minus 12 outside the brackets. Open the brackets. Minus 12 times 3x is going to get us to the minus 36x. And minus 12 times a minus 1 is going to get you back to plus 12. All right, done the 2 steps, 2 halves. We do have the same bracket. We have a 3x minus 1, 3x minus 1. Our 2 brackets match there, so that's a good sign that we are doing it right. So that's what you write out as your first bracket, 3x minus 1. And then the next bracket, again, comes from the terms outside the bracket. So we've got an x here, and we've got a minus 12 there. So we've got 3x minus 1 in the first one, but x minus 12 in the second one. And that's you done. Okay, I'm going to do one more example with you. If you're feeling like you want to try it yourself, maybe pause the video once you've copied it down, try it yourself, and then come back to the video and see if your solution matched. All right, just to change it, just so that we do know that we can use other letters other than just x, we're going to do 15a squared minus 16a plus 4. Okay, so we've got a trinomial, we've got a number in front of the a squared. So we're going to do our letters MAM. There's no highest common factor there, so we can go into factorising. We're multiplying towards 15 times 4, which is 60. And we're adding to a negative 16. Okay, so writing out these factors. 1 and 60, if we do that, that's not right. 2 and 30, they're not going to get us to minus 16 either. 3 and 20, and both negative, of course. 4 and 15. Negative 4 and negative 15. Nope. Negative 5 and negative 12. Also not negative 16. Negative 6 and negative 10. We're there. So negative 6 times negative 10 is 60. Minus 6, minus 10, minus 16. Okay, so we break up our expression. 15a squared minus 6a minus 10a plus 4. So I've used the two numbers to put in here with the a's. Split it in half and take out the highest common factor. 15a squared minus 6a. Highest common factor would be 3a. So we take 3a, open the brackets. 5a minus 2. Then for the second half, highest common factor between minus 10a and plus 4. Again, we use this symbol, so we've got minus, and it would be 2. Open the brackets. Minus 2 times 5a would get us back to that one. Minus 2 times minus 2 would get us back to plus 4. And so our two brackets match, so that's looking good. 5a minus 2 and 5a minus 2, so we can write that out as our first bracket. Equals 5a minus 2. The next one comes from the other two terms. We've got 3a minus 2. So open the brackets, 3a minus 2. And that is your solution.